friend told his dad, Kenneth, he said, I felt like me and my son were going to talk this year because he was opening up more. He started to just like blossom. He said, me and my son, we're going to talk. Them kids feeling how they felt. They hurt. The dad didn't only get stripped. They got stripped from it too, because a lot of times other bitter baby mamas, they don't want you to be close. They'll tell them ain't your siblings and blah, 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 because they had to live that. They got torn away from a brother that they didn't even, they couldn't even be around, couldn't talk to, because it was always a ruckus, because you go through me. When he got her pregnant and had Kirsnick, she wasn't even the girlfriend then. He had another girlfriend, and she got pregnant by Ethna, which is Treat Mama, his grandmama, that he got tattooed. And Treat sent him to live with his father. So then that didn't work out. So then they sent him back to Lawrence. He didn't like the rules and regulations, whatever. Then he ended up going back to stay with his mom.
Wait, because they out here saying it like his father was just a deadbeat and was not there.
No. He paid child support the whole time. He had that he's hurt because he never got a chance. He didn't get a chance to tell his son how he really felt about him, and he never badmouthed his mama to him ever, but he hurt. How do you cope? And it's hurtful when you don't get any closure. So he coped with it the best way he can, and that's how I found out how he got treated at the funeral or whatever. They don't even know the whole story because they rep Lawrenceville, but they're from Athens, Georgia. They're not from Lawrenceville. They just happened to migrate to Lawrenceville. And Kirsnick was here. His father was very active, but his father just, got remarried. You know how things happen sometimes, and you have to look at the timing. He never even asked for anything. He's just a regular old man that work and try to stir his children in the right direction. And I'm gonna say this. He used to get money. His dad was very popular back in the day and used to get money, and all the women loved him. I mean, that's how he got different children by different women. He changed from all that. And as parents, sometimes we have to not say nothing about the dad and allow them the chance to get to know their father and let them be the judge of it.
It is a sad day today. Let me tell y'all what happened last night. DJ, stop the beat. We was on the phone call doing our talk, right? Guess who called last night? Takeoff father, best friend, called the airwaves to clear the air. And when I tell you, she let loose and told us so much that's going on. Y'all gonna have to hear this. Okay, yeah. Y'all gonna have to hear this. DJ, stop the beat. And it's more stuff she hasn't revealed yet, but they are going to reveal. And they just want to get some straightening on, y'all. It's a lot of people on these blogs that's talking real bad about Takeoff Daddy, Kenneth, that he wasn't there. They feel like they got slighted at the funeral. There's so much going on behind the scenes, and they do want it to come to light. So I want y'all to check this out. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. Like for the algorithm. Share, because people want the truth to be out, okay? You are watching Gossip Girl XOXO, baby. All right, check this video out. Here we go.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
Gigi. Hey, Gigi, how are you?
Good.
I kind of wanna have a personal conversation with you because I'm actually best friends with the dad that you talked about earlier, Kenneth Ball.
Okay, you're Kenneth Ball and you're best friends with Takeoff father.
Yes, we're all from Athens, Georgia. They're not
thank
from
you
Lawrenceville.
for calling in.
Yes, and I just wanted to, because I don't do the thing in public, but they touched on some stuff, but a lot of people have a lot of different information. I asked you, is it possible that me and you could talk in private? But I do want to say this. It's all the pictures that they have as him being a younger boy. It's because they lived in Athens and then they went to Lawrenceville. So we got to look at the timing because he was here. Treat and Ethna sent him to Kenneth because they couldn't do anything with him, and they wanted his son to, when you're a teenager, you start doing stuff or whatever. So he came to live with his father. They sent him to live with his father. So the relationship has already been, manipulated, and some of her own family didn't even get a chance, and they didn't speak to them about coming to the funeral. Like her, Etna, sister, and
That's
nieces,
sad.
a lot of them didn't get a chance to come. So when people love to get on and say this and go and say that, they don't even know the whole story because they were up Lawrenceville, but they're from Athens, Georgia. They're from Athens, Georgia. They're not from Lawrenceville. They just happened to migrate to Lawrenceville. And Kirsnick was here. His father was very active, but his father just, got remarried. You know how things happen sometimes, and you have to look at the timing. He never even asked for anything. He's just a regular old man that work and try to stir his children in the right direction. And I'm gonna say this. He used to get money. His dad was very popular back in the day and used to get money, and all the women loved him. I mean, that's how he got different children by different women. He changed from all that. And I'm a victim of a baby father that also have a lot of kids by a lot of women. And the first thing we do is we get mad at the dad, and so we start dogging the kid out. So, a lot of people, sometimes you have to fold your lips and not say anything because we're from Athens. We know the Athens people know. So the kids are reaching out because they didn't get a chance to know their brother because of these grown people situation. And as parents, sometimes we have to not say nothing about the dad and allow them the chance to get to know their father and let them be the judge of it. You understand what I'm saying? So, I usually don't do this, but that's my best friend. And I know what happened. We went through the teenage thing together with Kenneth Ball. So, it's a lot of different things, and a lot of people saying the kids, they know. So that stuff the kids putting out there, they feel it. They seen it. They heard it. So when people bashing the old kids, which is like they 20 and 21 now, all the kids around the same age, they had to live through that, and that shit is true. What they're expressing how they're feeling because they had to live that. They got torn away from a brother that they didn't even they couldn't even be around, couldn't talk to because it was always a ruckus because now you go through me, you don't go talk to nobody, blah 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 blah. But that ain't how it works. And it's not right, and God not going to be pleased with it because sometimes God intervenes when we're doing the right thing, the wrong thing, and trying to be vindictive and selfish. Now, he's powerful now because sometimes he'll step in and say, okay, it's going like this. I'm going to show you who the man and who's in power. So sometimes people just have to, you never heard from Kenneth because he don't do all that. But see, when our kids get grown, we can't stop them from telling them how we feel, how they feel. Them kids feeling how they felt, they hurt. The dad didn't only get stripped, they got stripped from it too because a lot of times other bitter baby mamas, they don't want you to be close. They'll tell them ain't your siblings and blah, 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 blah.
Okay, and that's what I was saying earlier. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
That's okay.
The son, Kenneth's son and daughter, do you know them?
Yeah, Tavion and Kendra, Michael. Yes, I do. I know all of them. See, the ones that you showed on the picture when you say you don't know them, Kirsnick went and stayed with them. So when you hear something from Kendra and Michael, I don't think. Yeah, Kirsnick is Takeoff. So Kendra and Michael, I don't know them Michael, I don't get on there, but I don't know. I was just cleaning up and it popped up on YouTube, and I happened to hear you. And it's the when he's standing up, that's his sister Kendra, then that's Michael, and then the brother Tavion that's speaking. The brother Tavion is by one of his other baby mamas, but he has two kids by his wife. Do y'all think you want to
talk about this tonight? Do you think you'll be able to call him tonight and talk about this, or would you want to talk about it tomorrow?
Do I want to do what? Say it again.
Would you like to talk about it with them tonight or tomorrow? We can set up tomorrow, or we can pre-record tonight.
Yeah, we can talk about it tomorrow. But I do also want you to still reply to the email so we can connect. But
I'm doing it now. Now, do you want this to be pre-recorded or do you want this to be live?
We can do it. Don't matter. However you want to.
Okay. All right. Go ahead,
And,
keep
and if
talking. I'm sorry.
anybody have any,
I'm replying to you
and
now.
okay, and it's just so hurtful because the backstory is my friend is not going to have any closure. He's not going to have any closure because he didn't get a chance to talk to Kirsnick. But Kirsnick actually, the mama Tree, reached out a couple of months ago and asked Kenneth, "What is your phone number? Because your son want to talk to you." But he never got a chance to call and talk to him. This happens all the time, and so it's just one of those things. Like I feel for my friend because my kids didn't have closure because my kid's grandmother, my kid's father, he killed himself. So the mother was so bitter and this and that. She went and buried him and then let the kids go see him before she dressed them. And my kids are 28, 20. They grown now, but they always come to me and say, "Mom, I feel like we ain't had no closure. How you think it'll be if he was alive, this and that?" And it eats me up because my kids didn't have any closure. Because you got grown people, the mothers and sisters and brothers intervene. They ain't worried about the kids. Kids be suffering and we don't even know it because we just thinking about ourselves and how a fucking man hurted us and blah blah blah. He got up. No, we got to stop doing that. We got to stop. And he stayed behind the scene for a reason because he don't care nothing about the attention. He don't care nothing about he work a 9 to 5 job just like everybody else, just simple man, and was just hoping that he can. And he told me, he said this to me. He said, when I seen my son talk more, because his daddy is him. The way he's is, that's how his daddy is. Laid back, sit back in the scene, don't say nothing, quiet. They treated my friend like shit at the funeral. He did get a chance to go, but nobody called him and told him, "Hey, your son been killed." He called me to call my friend, which is some kin to treat his mother and them, to ask what's going on. You know how that made me feel on that Monday? Well, he had to call me because me and one of their cousin best friends called him and let's see, so I could see what's going on. Nobody called him. Nobody still ain't called him. So his mama bust out and started crying. They gave so much grief going into the funeral. They could barely get in. They gave him trouble. She bust out and started crying because it hurted her so bad how they were treated. It always, guys, it always two sides to the story, and people thinking he out after money. No.
Nah, you can tell that. I never thought he was after money because you never heard him. He could be doing videos, interviews in the past, reality TV, you name it.
No, we train our children like that sometimes. We forget about them. And when you start just bad mouthing man, so let me go back to what he told me. He said his son gave an interview and said, "No, don't give me my flower while I'm living, blah blah blah." My friend told his dad, Kenneth, he said, "I felt like me and my son were gonna talk this year because he was opening up more. He started to just like blossom." He said, "Me and my son, we're gonna talk." So, I just had to get on here, and I don't usually do this, but I got some more stuff I want to tell you. But people have to stop being so judgmental because a parent can make stuff bad. They make stuff bad in marriages when you grown as hell and you married to somebody. They make it hard for the wife, and that's a lot of reason why a lot of marriages fail. Because your mama will get in and destroy things, and we gotta stop.
All right, for people that don't know who this is, I'm gonna let you guys know. This is Takeoff Father's best friend. Okay, a lot of stuff that's been going on about Takeoff Father, bashing him on social media. Takeoff Brothers and Sisters was defending his name. I reported about it earlier. So this is Takeoff's father, which his name is Kenneth or Ken, best friend. Okay? Understand? Did I get that right?
Yes.
Okay. And do you want to put out a name, or what name do you like to go by? And if you want to be alias, that's totally fine too.
I'll be alias because what people saying and how that family is on that side is true. So people don't even like to be bothered with messy people and how, they all, for themselves, and, how everybody can see, though, how they act. I mean, how everything coming out. Because one thing about it, the truth always will come out. We just hate it had to be like this. because he never even said anything about them people like on the bad side. He never even went to social media. Even if y'all go on his social media, there's no. I mean, just he just got an Instagram page. It always positive stuff about God and just a couple pictures of his kids and his wife, and they just take off dad, just plain and simple.
Hmm. Uh, Everything Tammy said. Who is the wife?
Who is Takeoff? I mean, I'm sorry. Who is Kenny Ball's wife?
Everything Tammy. Is that what you mean? I'm not sure. She just said. Can you explain that a little bit more? What I wanted to know was, did Kenneth just leave when Takeoff was in kindergarten? Was he trying to be in his
No,
father life, or I mean, son life, or no?
he was very active, and I don't know. Can I say this on on live or whatever? But he was very active. He was a dope dealer back in the day. He took very good care of him. That was his father past life. He was
Hmm.
the man. Do you understand me? So everybody can get a visual. He was the man, and he had several women. That's why I got several kids by different women. So we can connect the dots on that level.
Come on,
But
Miss
he done
Doc.
switched his life all the way
Where Miss
around.
Doc's at? Go ahead. I'm
No,
sorry.
he's yeah, no, he didn't leave. He was active. He was active, and she got pregnant. They went together. They broke up. How we all sometimes do things. Shit just don't work. So then, in the mix of him growing up, Kirsnick had a gold grill when he was probably 8, 9, 10, something of that nature because they want to get him a gold grill because the dope dealer back son. You understand what I'm saying? See, now I'm
Hmm.
finna get real deep and start preaching. Like that's the backstory of it. When he got her pregnant and had Kirsnick, she wasn't even the girlfriend then. He had another girlfriend, and she
Mm.
got pregnant by him.
Mm.
So it's just one of those. We just gotta stop. I mean, if they got any more questions before I get off, but
Well, I
it's
do.
it's, it's
And
just
comment if you guys have any questions. I hate the phone line went off. Um, the sister and the brother said they've been away from the family for 10 years, away from Takeoff for 10 years. Why is that?
because she moved to Lawrenceville. So therefore, she wasn't in Athens, Georgia anymore. They moved to Lawrenceville, and so when they moved to Lawrenceville, then then Kirsnick got sent to live with Kenneth. He was going to school in Athens, Georgia. So he was living with his father and his father's
Hold on,
wife,
he was
and
living
then
with
he
his
didn't.
father. Takeoff was living with
Yes,
his father.
he,
When? When
yes,
was this? Cause
yes,
they put it out there
yeah.
like
He
Takeoff
had to be.
Daddy
He had
just left when he was in
no, no,
kindergarten and just put up the
no.
deuce
I know.
sign.
And then they put up a lot of he was dead, but he was very well alive. No, he was old enough. I think it was probably middle school or such. He was like an early teen because he was here and he lived with him. Etna, which is Treat Mama, his grandmama, that he got tattooed, and Treat sent him to live with his father. So then that didn't work out. So then they sent him back to Lawrence. He didn't like the rules and regulations, whatever. Then he ended up going back to stay with his mom. And when he stayed with his mom, then because he always loved music, and he told the daddy, "I'm gonna do music." And so a regular father, "Well, son, what you gonna do if the music don't work?" And he told him, I'm gonna do music. I'm gonna be a rapper. I'm gonna rap, and that's what he did. So then, in the mix of that, that's when he came back to Lawrenceville. He started working on his craft, and then he blew up. So in the mix of this time, that's how all the space came in between. And when he blew up, it was history. No more nothing. So everything just changed. He paid child support until he was 18 years old.
No way, cause they out
So he was
here saying
18
it
years
like his
old.
father was just a deadbeat and was not there.
No, no, he paid child support the whole time. I'm pretty sure he got the records. He paid child support the whole time for Kirsnick.
Mm, 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 mm. So why
People can't
why
believe
didn't
everything
the
they hear.
who was um telling Takeoff you need to stay away from your father during a time when he was blowing up, or was it Takeoff? He just felt like, hey, I'm a celebrity, I don't need you.
Well, in the mix of that, when you young and you get money, you blowing up, you really don't have time no more. I think all the damage probably was done when he was younger. You know how some women, that's what they do, tell their kids, didn't, because I was a victim of that. My mama used to tell me that sorry ass daddy you and mother, he don't want to take you with your other family. Just some of that stuff, and then you young and you hear it, and I don't know did it affect him or not, but he definitely, his father had not. They say 10 years because that's how long it actually had been, because he was about 18, 17, around the time he blew up or whatever. So that's why they keep saying like the 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And he conversated with him in between that time, but not a whole lot of conversation. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. They said that did he ever spend time with Takeoff after Takeoff was famous?
He didn't. He talked to him like he came when their grandmother. He has a grandmother that died. Kenneth attended the funeral, and they talked. They would talk then, and every blue moon they would talk. Occasionally, but the phone number would get withheld. The mama and them and the grandmama wanted people to go through them to speak to him or whatever. So it was always something in between them where it was that void that kind of kept them separated.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna look in here.
Then he would get one phone number, and then next thing you know, the phone number changed. Then he don't have that number. They don't, she don't send the number or whatever. So it is, and it's sad because he has to deal with, he don't have that closure. You know what I'm
saying? Somebody said that Takeoff in an interview stated that his father was a deadbeat dad.
Well, that's what we tell definitely some women. I'd have been in that situation where I've been mad because I had my babies young. I've done that too, but that don't mean it was true. It's because we can't produce. I look at it like this: when we have babies, I had my babies at young, teens. So when we have babies young and the baby daddy young, we both learning how to parent together. We don't know. We figuring it out as we go. So of course, when I got mad, that's the first thing I said. Because, it's just one of those, it can't believe everything you hear, it just, people do, like I said, he was doing a pretty good job. He was doing what most do. And like I said, and then when you pay child support, that means you paying. So I don't know what, and then when you don't have a rich dad, I don't know how people look at that thing, because I struggled when I had my kids. First child, you're going to struggle. You don't know, you don't just have babies and know what to do. We seen them active. You see if you look at the different timeline of the pictures that he put, I seen somebody put about the pictures. He just got younger pictures. Yeah, because, then you got the picture with all three. Matter of fact, I want to say this. The picture that he did the interview, and he said he always have on that ring with him and his mama, it's the same picture that you got up on your site. She cropped him out and made the ring for him and left Kenneth off of it, but it was all three of them on the picture.
Mm.
And, when kids get older, they don't want to stand up and take family portraits and stuff no more. So,
So did Kenneth, his Takeoff father, did he always say things during the years, or what conversations did he say about his son?
Yeah, he will always say, "I'm gonna wait on the Lord, and I would love to speak to my son." And I would tell him, "Just show up." I said, "Just show up where he at. Find out where he gonna be at." I said, "I'm pretty sure he ain't gonna turn you away." But he was so. It was just cause the same way he got treated now. Same way he got treated at the funeral. He sit outside at the very back. His name was at the very bottom of the obituary.
Somebody want to say, but couldn't his dad have done more to be in his life? Not child support, but to have a real relationship with this kid.
Well, he did. He was going on the weekends. He was going to pick him up on the weekends, just like the same thing the judge would do if you got custody. He was picking him up on the weekends, coming to stay with him sometimes. But when they get a certain age, they don't want to come no more, and it just happens. Kids get a certain age, and I don't want to go there now no more. It's just it's normal family stuff. When you living in you ain't in a 2-parent household, things change. They've never been in a two parents household, so because they never was, they were never in a relationship where they ever lived together.
Okay, and what else do you what does Kenneth saying now? I mean, Kenneth, Takeoff father,
He's
he's
hurt.
hearing all this, he's seeing this. How does he feel now?
Well, he's hurt now. He called me today on his break, and he called me 2 times today, and he said, that he's hurt because he never got a chance. He didn't get a chance to tell his son how he really felt about him, and he never badmouthed his mama to him ever. But he hurt. How do you cope? And it's hurtful when you don't get any closure. So he coped with it the best way he can, and that's how I found out how he got treated at the funeral or whatever. He didn't get a chance to sit with the family. I think he told me he was like in the middle. He said, but it didn't bother him. He said he just came to pay respect to his son, and that's all that mattered. But he's heard about it. He said so many people see him so much stuff, on YouTube, and they have people attacking his kids or whatever. And he said he don't even look at it. Other people send him stuff, and so many people reach out to him for interviews and different things. And he said he see it all, but he's always been that strong person, and he just don't worry about it. He just went back to work today. He had been out here since it happened, so his first day back to work was today.
Somebody in comment section
and when
why?
you look at
Go ahead.
When you look at Kenneth, nobody never really seen him because they try to, it saves a lot when somebody just try to hide him and won't even say a real name. It was just Mr. Ball, but he's coping like it's sad when you have to cope when you go through grief, but you got all the extra and people saying this stuff about you, and it's not true. You know what I'm saying?
And Takeoff did have his last name, huh?
Yeah, his name is Kenneth Ball. He signed the birth certificate.
Well,
all his kids on their picture. Yeah, Kendra Ball, Michael Ball.
I seen pictures of them together, like they were in a relationship. So was it love that Takeoff father loved his mom at one point?
Well, see, I wouldn't be able to tell you, when you have baby with people, sometimes it don't mean that they love you. Just, it happens. But like you said, it's a family portrait. People just don't do family portraits. They ain't into a person or try to, And like I said, he's never dogged out or whatever.
Did they ever live together?
Not from my understanding.
Okay, so I'm gonna look in here and send some comments. And anything else you wanted to add? They said asked her what about when he got grown? What kept him from traveling together? Did he buy his dad any gifts, or did they celebrate any holidays like birthdays, Christmas?
No, when he would his birthday and stuff, he would try to send him text messages, but like his phone number changed, and the mom, she wouldn't give him the new number or whatever, or say he would try to send messages, and this was through Facebook. It wasn't through phone calls. Him and her would come, when every blue moon they would communicate through Facebook. And no, it wasn't in the gifts. He wasn't seeking that. His father didn't want anything from him. He was always happy for him, for his success, and he always wanted to tell him, he proud of him, whatever. But like I said, he always just stood back. He didn't never want that. He never asked for anything. He never.
Yep. Life insurance. Okay, so it's an article that came out that said Takeoff did not have a will. So the closest is going to be, I guess, Takeoff father and mom. And people was wondering, is a possibility that Takeoff father would fight for Takeoff will, or he's definitely not interested in fighting for Takeoff's will.
No, he's not interested. It don't move him. I mean, he never even shoot, he never even tried to reach out and find him and ask him for anything. He's not that type of person. Like money doesn't move him. He's not like vindictive like that. He's not that person.
And does Takeoff Quavo family, do they dislike Takeoff father, Quavo family side? Do they have some animosity towards Takeoff father?
I won't be able to. I would assume because like usually the grandmother is the head. So if you doing wrong is and like in my family, you expect the elder to check it and be like, no, that's their boy daddy, blah blah blah. You doing that's wrong, blah blah blah. Because that's how it is over here on this end. So if nobody's not reaching out and somebody got a level head, then I guess it kind of speaks for itself.
So that's a yeah or no?
I don't. He never addressed it. He just never communicate with any of them.
And the reason why
Like
I
so,
asked
Kenneth would
that
be like
is
Kenneth would be like when the grandmother died and he went to the funeral. He speaks to everybody. He'll walk up to you. He speaks to you. He like to give hugs and hey, how you doing? Like he's always formal and polite to people.
they somebody made a comment. They said, where's that comment? Takeoff really didn't talk too much about his real mom. He was talking about Quavo's mom. Her name is EDNA.
Etna.
Is Etna is
Etna.
tattooed above his eyebrow. Why do you think that? Why do you think that Takeoff had a better, I guess, loving mother relationship with Quavo mom versus his own?
Well, it's his grandmother, and they so close in age because his grandmother, his mom. If you look at their age, they had them kids so close together. So even my first child, the first child is always grandma baby. So your mama always kind of take over. So he was all mostly over his grandma's house with his uncle because they were so close into age. So that's how he ended up being so close with his uncle, and then you have your grandmother and you over her house all the time. So that's why, because I had started seeing it, they were saying that Edna was his mama, but we all know or in Athens that that's his grandmother, whatever, and his mom and his grandmother they very close. Like they kind of like when you see one, you're gonna see the other.
Okay. Quavo only 3 years older than Takeoff, and I think his mom was real young. How old was
hmm
Takeoff mom when she had him?
Well, Kenneth is like 40. He's in his late 40s, so they around same age. She wasn't that young, but she was would be considered a teenage mom. Early, had very young.
Like 13, 14, 16?
She's about no, she's way old. She's around. I think she's about 48, 47, 48. So she wasn't that young.
Okay. And the reason why I asked because Takeoff brother, he have mentioned a lot of things about Quavo's side. He said they are wicked. He was pretty much saying that I guess he felt like they were blocked, like he was blocked from seeing having a relationship with his brother.
It's because he didn't come around, and he couldn't just the same way his father felt. They didn't see him when they said for 10 years. They literally hadn't seen him for 10 years because he didn't come around. I mean, his father didn't see him. We call his father Mike. We don't call him Kenneth, so we call him Mike. So it's Kenneth Michael Ball. So they did. They didn't get a chance to see him. Like he didn't come around. I mean, so they actually really don't really know him because they didn't get a chance to spend a lot of time with him, and he was way younger when he was here and he was around. So they never got a chance to get the brother and sister relationship. But Kendra, the daughter, they did because he lived with. He moved in with Mike, the Kenneth, the father, the husband. I mean the wife, and it was two siblings. it was Kendra, and then her brother lived in the same household where Kirsnick actually lived at. See, I know him by Kirsnick, not Takeoff. So they actually lived in the house with him. So they actually had more interaction with him than the brothers that's just kind of spazzing out. Because the brother that's spazzing out didn't live in their household with them. He has a whole other mother. So
So
he's hurt and he's feeling some type of way.
why is he smazzing out so much if he didn't have a close relationship with Takeoff? And why is he saying so
He
many horrible things about Quavo's side being wicked? Who is he hearing this from?
It's from Athens. I mean, people talk about it, and he actually been around it. You know, they was kind of small. He was younger because he a younger brother. He was younger when it was going on, trying to, when he was coming around when Kirsnick was younger. So not up until a certain age. And when he got to in his teens, he kind of stopped coming around. So then you just seeing someone baby and it's supposed to be your sibling, then you do feel like you don't know him. And they were stripped from you because, of course, he probably heard his dad try to reach out because the dad was that man that would try to bring the siblings together.
Okay. Okay. So basically, the brother, all he was doing it was hearing rumors in Athens, but he really don't have a personal experience to back it up. Now,
well, see, I can't say it because I really went in their household and be
from your
around.
perspective,
So me personally, from my
perspective.
perspective, we never got a chance to. We never got. We haven't seen him in so long. I mean, we haven't.
So the
He would slide through. He would come to town if they had a funeral, and then he'll leave out. And he was very friendly though. He gave the best hug. He was a hugger like his father. Like I said, some of the family they ain't even get a chance to. They didn't even come. They didn't. They were just like Mike. They didn't. Then the family didn't reach out, tell them when the funeral arrangement's gonna be, and uh, yeah, some of the stuff I got to say for you, Gigi, but it goes deeper than how he really found out and how he got a chance to know what really happened to his son and different things. But it's a sad situation, especially for the kids. And then even if the kids grown, that don't mean anything. We can sometimes brainwash our kids, and if we don't lead them the right way, then they're gonna be jacked up for whenever they get older and get into relationships. Because we got to teach them how to still be respectful and still do the right thing, even when our parents is not doing the right thing.
Okay, so people are very, the father is very hurt how he found out about his son leaving this earth.
He found out like we found out. My daughter ran downstairs and told me, Mom, Mike's son dead. Cause like I said, we know him by Mike. Mike's son dead. And at that point, we seen the picture. We seen the picture with him, bleeding and Offset, not Offset. Everybody get that mixed up. Quavo picking him up, calling his name, and it was about 6 a.m. And I immediately, picked up the phone and called him. And so he didn't answer. And then when I called him, and I said, Mike, is it true? And he was like, I don't know, man. He said, I don't know. He said, I don't know. And then he found out like we found out. I guess TMZ, my daughter seen on TMZ. And so then me and him got off the phone, and he called me back, and he said, can you, I ain't gonna call her name. Can you call? She was one of my best friends. Their first cousin. This is his grandmother, sister, daughter. Me and her best friend. And he said, can you call her? He said, you still got her number? I said, yeah, I still got her number. He said, can you call her so I can just see what's going on? We called her on the three-way because he couldn't get the number. I gave him her number, so he couldn't get it together in his brain. He was just, rambling. And so I said, I'll tell you what, friend, I called on the three-way. I called on the three-way, and I called her name. I said, I got Mike on the phone. Is it all right? She said, sure. She said, we don't know now. We just heard they were saying that it were both of them, but it just one of them. But, yeah, we heard that it would take off. He gone. I heard that they on a flight now. We don't know now. We're in the same boat. Him ain't nobody calling us. That's all we knew. Okay, and we know that because one of our aunts that live in Houston, that live in Texas or something. Don't quote me. One of them, she said, that's how we found out. She was like, we in the same boat. There ain't nobody call. We don't know now. So that's how he was sitting around. After 2 or 3 days, he still didn't get a response. So he found out like how we found out when we hours of the morning on I guess TMZ was the first one to post. And then when he heard that, he immediately hung up the phone. And I said, Mike, are you there? And so I got off the phone with her and I told her thank you. And she was like, please share my number if he want to call and talk. And the grandmama Etna and his treat, which is his mama, this is their first cousin and Etna niece. And she said he can call me anytime. And so and I called him back and I told him, and they're making my heart flutter now. But they're just thinking about, calling him, how he had to hear it. And he said, I'm okay. I'm okay. And then he ended up getting off the phone with me, and I would just call and check on him every day. He'd call me back, and some days he couldn't talk. And it just, it's a messed up feeling. I never lost a child. I never had to bear a child, so I couldn't even tell him I can imagine how he feels because I couldn't. I just told him, friend, if you need me, call me. If you just got to call me, and we just hold the phone together. So I think it was messed up how he found out like we found out. And then he kept trying to put calls through. Nobody wouldn't even call him back, and nobody told him. And he was out here like we was out here just waiting. And then, like I said, I'm going to save some for you and to tell you how he really found out. And that's how he found out. And then he had to make other steps and jump through hoops. And that's how it went.
Mm-hmm. Was that his first son? Was Takeoff his first child?
Yes. That was his first child, his oldest child.
And was this his first child that left this earth?
Yeah, all of his other kids. He had 5, so that was the first one that left.
So sorry to hear that. One more thing. Back to Takeoff Brother. The one that's always in the comments. He kind of went to say when he was at the funeral, what if something terrible happened at the funeral, behind the scenes, or after the funeral? And he said that he is going to tell some truth. The truth will be exposed.
And say he might know more of that than I know for what kind of, I guess the truth he's saying, how they really, and it's more stuff, like I told you, it's more stuff. He trusts me, he'll tell it if it's, but, like I said, I can actually get, when me and you talk, I can get you to be able to speak with him and for the people, and they can ask him all kind of questions they want to ask him because he's very humble. And if it wasn't so late, I would call him, but he has to be to work at 3 o'clock, so he go to bed probably about 7 or 8.
Okay. Subscribers, Party Crashers, would you guys like that for me to bring up Takeoff Father and Takeoff Brothers and Sisters on his daddy side? Press 1 if you think that'd be great, Okay, anything else you would like to add?
No, that'll be all just coming and just telling, me as far as what I know. And like I said, can't badmouth the other side. It just things happen sometimes in relationships, and it's just sad the kids is the ones that suffer behind it.
Yeah, I believe his niece is in the comment section, and she said Kenneth will not talk.
Really? Yeah, he'll talk, but he's just not going to talk about anybody.
Okay. All right.